I am so happy to be here, with Elissa! And this is our first time doing one of our Collab Not Compete videos. We're here to teach you guys out there who are hairstylists about the wonderful Elissa's techniques. She's going to teach us one of her signature looks. I'm going to be here to learn just as much as you guys are. We're going to do it as like a look and learn. And what we are thinking is that I'm going to help her do the head at the same time, so that while I'm learning, if I make a mistake or whatever, as we do as hairstylists, she's here to help me. So, this is also a wonderful project that I've been working on and collaborating with lovely stylists around the city on, because what we're also doing is asking our generous models, Brittany here, and we're asking them for donations towards a charity effort that I have been working on called Fed by Hair. When I told Elissa about it, she was so excited, and
so excited.
It was so nice because having that sort of feedback from somebody who you obviously respect in the industry and stuff, that your idea is good, was so empowering. And so Fed by Hair is going to be supporting local food-based charities. So let's take our talents and do what we can to give back. And
absolutely.
I'm going to let you take it from here, because I'm going to let you explain what you're doing with Brittany and what we're showing off today.
I love it. Awesome. So I definitely do a lot of vivid work, right? So it's probably been something I've been specializing in for the last 2 years, doing a lot of vivids. But on top of that, I also like to incorporate a lot of the fashion trends that are happening right now. As you can see, Brittany already has this beautiful kind of lived in, balayage baby light look. So I've been taking that same trend, but adding those fashion colors to it. So that way, whether or not you're a student, not starving, but still a student, or whether you're a mom or even a doctor, working professionals need really fun hair too. I love the idea of mixing those balayage looks with the fashion colors. I think they're really wearable. I think they're super approachable. And then that way you're not committing to, again, a full, all over color bleach out, which requires way more maintenance, right?
Would you also find them they're more approachable from a stylist standpoint because they're more achievable?
Yeah, definitely. That's a great point. Absolutely. So of course I'm always thinking in my client's perspective.
Yeah, absolutely.
So for somebody walking into those fashion colors for the first time, obviously, baby steps.
We're just gonna dip our toe into the world of fashion color.
Totally. And that's where I've always introduced, again, glazing over highlights or balayage, whether it's already existing or we're gonna touch up and brighten up a little bit today. So again, in that approachability, I think it's more wearable for clients, but definitely, so if you're a new stylist and you're not really sure where to start with fashion colors.
Well, just because I think the bleach out work is where people struggle with.
It's a lot of work, right? And really intimidating. Yeah. I still get intimidated sometimes by doing all over bleach outs. These are big color corrective services. Whereas, like I said, a lot of our clients are already walking in with these lived-in colors. Like I said, as it is right now, we could literally just be putting these fashion tones on right now. So this is a great way to introduce that and make it more approachable for new stylists as well. Absolutely. So combining a technique of baby lights, which is just good old-fashioned highlights, by the way. Hashtag baby lights.
I was like, when somebody was like, you mean baby lights? I was like, you mean all my highlights?
It's just highlights. Yeah. Secrets out.
Yeah. Surprise, guys. Sorry.
But it is a nice combination of adding the baby lights. We'll go through, we're gonna lighten these ends up a little bit so we can make them a little bit brighter. So we'll show a little bit of hand painting in there as well. So it's gonna be a great technique for new stylists, and also for stylists have, you know, been in the industry for years, but they want to introduce fashion tones to their clients.
Yeah.
You know, you just gotta get out there and start doing it.
I love it. For me as a stylist, I love this approachability just because I do believe, I'm like you, where I think that like if somebody's coming in and they're spending their hard-earned money with us, they want to have hair that's going to last them a while.
Absolutely.
Right? So
Absolutely.
for me and my clients, our grow out is so important.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and especially because that's kind of, I lean towards that already, so I totally get this. And then being able to approach fashion colors from a stylist, because I'm not a fashion colorist by any means, which is why I was so excited to work with you, because it's like, I don't do that often.
Yeah.
Right? So this actually makes it more approachable for me as well.
Awesome. That's
So,
great.
I
And
think
it's a great way to learn how to, like you said, you know, how do we introduce those fashion tones to our clients, right? We know it's trending. We know it's out there. You can't turn on any phone with Pinterest or any social media.
It's a wig.
Yeah. You know, these fashion colors are everywhere and you can't get away from it. And they're not really going anywhere. But I really believe that, you know, by introducing them like this to your clients, by letting them know that they can wear these colors and let them grow out, like you said, they're not going to be having to come in every 4 weeks to touch them up. That's where the approachability comes in. And I think that's super important.
It's huge.
Yeah, so let's get going.
All right.
All right. Okay, so I'm going to start with pretty standard, if you will, 4-quadrant sectioning. So I do like to work with that. Again, I am a foundation teacher, so my passion starts with that. You know, mapping out your colors and mapping out your services will definitely help you to get through them a lot quicker as well. So I'm never a big fan of just winging it. I will do that with like upstyling and with updos, but definitely not with color, and definitely never with, you know, bleach, with chemical services. You really should have it mapped out, thought out, and sectioned out properly. I think it's really important.
Don't want to get halfway through your game plan and then not realize you don't know where you're going.
Oh my God, exactly. And again, I've had to learn along the way just that, you know.
Stressful.
Absolutely. And then, you know, again, like you said, if in the middle of your service and you're kind of finding yourself getting a bit lost, you know, that's when the frustration will set in, and you never want to, you know, show your clients that, because here you are trying to introduce a new service and you're finding yourself in the weeds. Like,
you're panicked suddenly.
Yeah, that's just not going to work. So map it out, section it out. It will help you to, you know, just move through that service a lot more confidently as well.
And do you have sort of like a set pattern that you stick to, or do you kind of like map it out based on their head?
Oh, I mean, depending on the service, but yeah, I think you're right. I will map it to their head, but more importantly, I'll kind of map it out to what they already have in their hair.
Okay.
So that is really important, right? I'm not necessarily starting fresh. We've got the 2 front quadrants. I'm working with her natural parting here as well. I took a look at her crown and I sectioned that out so that we have that natural fall in the back. Again, we're doing a bit of a balayage look. So when I get up to the top, I'm going to show you how we can keep it really soft looking on the top, because that's where we want that kind of grown out look. 2 big quadrants in the back here. These are going to be mostly just like highlighted. We're going to space it out because she already has a lot of coverage in the back. So we can quickly just move through, and I'll show you guys how we can get still a lot of coverage without a lot of work. And I think that's really important too. I like starting in the back because I'm going to work from the bottom up, and then that way I'm just getting everything out of my way. So I have all my areas already clipped out and all my quadrants clipped away, but I don't want to be clipping away foils or creating any movement with those foils once I've got them set, especially when you've got finer hair like that. We know that it's going to slip, so the less movement you have with the foils, the better. Okay. So again, I want to move through these back sections fairly quickly. So I'm going to just start with a nice big section. Hair's fine, so I can take slightly larger sections. I'm just going to do a quick weave through there, and then I'm going to do a quick back comb at the root. Again, I want it to still look kind of lived in and balayaged, so I always do a quick back comb with those foils, just at the root, really gently. But pretty much working from the top of that back combing, and I'm going to apply that all the way down just to the blonde. Then I'm going to switch that brush over onto its side. This is a highlighting and a balayage brush. So I've got those corners kind of nice and soft. So I'm just going to kind of smush it up there. And then it's got already that nice lived-in feel. So like I said, good coverage right through the mid shaft. And then once you get up to the top of those foils, and this is where I think people kind of overthink it. I'm not gonna lie, I think this is where it's like, oh, it has to be super blended and it has to be super, you know, meticulous. And again, the whole point of having that back combing, just that little bit of back combing at the root, that's softening your line. So don't overthink this part at all. Oh, look at that. What are you doing there? What's that fancy technique?
This is one of my favorite things to do when I'm having a hard time separating.
Film that.
Do it again.
Just a little bit of a turn, little knuckle turn. It's an old serving trick that we used to do with the napkins.
Oh, I love it.
So one day I was like, I really need my foils to be separated, and I thought I'd try it, and it worked.
So I'm moving into the top here, and I'm still weaving and keeping it soft, but I'm actually going to do more teasing now. So I'm going to do a couple of extra pumps at that root. Again, I want this top layer. This is kind of like your cover layer, right? So I kind of call it the cover layer.
Spot they see.
It's the spot you're going to see, right? So definitely, you know, taking care of that and keeping that in mind. But I think the biggest thing is also this is that area that's going to create that lived-in look more than anything, right? So I'm going to start that lightener a little bit lower. And then kind of almost like that traditional kind of balayage, if you can see what I'm doing here, I'm just going to start at the bottom and I'm going to kind of push that lightener up towards there and still create a really soft line, right? Again, I have that back combing at the root. And as I move higher up to the apex, to the top of the head, I'm going to actually back comb more so that it's even lower, right? So you get that really soft finish. So again, just getting to the top of her head here. And I'm still watching because this is still hair that's falling back, right? It's not splitting just yet because I'll show you the next section here. So again, this is still your fall that goes over the back. I want to keep that nice, deep, you know, natural root. This is for that lived-in look that we're going for. This is a really key area. Again, I'm going to back comb just straight. So instead of going in on an angle, just go straight in and just gently push that hair and create that base. Again, it's not a volume base, but it's a back comb base. Not everybody back combs their balayage or their highlights like this because they're really afraid of washing it out and, you know, creating a mat. But if you're super gentle with your back comb, it's going to just come out nicely. Okay. And again, start at the bottom with that bleach or color. If you're balayaging with like a high lift color, you can do that too. But start at the bottom and then push it up. Never start at the top because then it's too heavy handed with that product. If you start a little bit lower and then push it up, it's going to create a softer look at the top, right?